She seems to be getting it's huge right here. Her arm is coming back, but what's that? She seems to be getting it's huge right here. Her arm is coming back, but
There's no way to be.
they said that she's beating all her girls right now. She's supposed to. So, yeah. So I'm taking the depth of that.
Yes. So she could come for
All right, I got 6 o'clock, call the meeting orders pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, the reason that we're having this meeting with these townships, and if you can't hear me in the back, I can talk louder. I'm not quiet, so just holler if you can. The reason we're having the meetings with these townships is that we are trying to establish a group from each township, 2 or 3 citizens. I know some of the townships have elected positions that are filled, but a lot of them do not. Normally, it would be those elected positions that we're asking to meet with us, but some of the elected officials, if they don't want to do it, if they want to pass it on to somebody else to have the meetings. And the reason that we are doing this is to try not to address, I got a pothole in front of my driveway or anything like that. That's not what this is about. What this is about is trying to establish long-term goals for your townships of projects that you think the townships need to be addressing. Okay? So that we can try and get a long-term, long-range plan put together so that we can address these. So that each, I try to get out and drive the roads as much as I can. I know the other commissioners do also. Road and bridges up down the road all the time. But we don't know what you guys think that you need. Okay? So that's what we're trying to do, is put together a coalition of townships, and then what we would do is meet with this coalition quarterly with the commission and Road and Bridge to try to get things lined out, try to get things outlined to where we can start getting some of these long-range projects in your townships addressed. Okay, so like I say, this is not really about the day-to-day operations of Road and Bridge. This is what you guys feel in your townships, and it's going to be you folks in the townships that are going to be addressing your fellow citizens in the townships, trying to get the coalition together, the 2 or 3 citizens, whatever you think that you can get, or if you yourselves want to serve on this. So that is what we're looking for. Okay? So, guys, go ahead.
Yeah, so part of this is similar to what KDOT does with consult meetings. So, W Road, I'm going to use that as an example. We're spending a lot of money to rebuild that entire road up there, that portion of that road up there. But I think what we would like to have is some input from each township of, hey, if you're going to rebuild a road, we would like to have this one rebuilt because the amount of traffic on it or whatever. You guys drive them every day. You see maybe some things that the county may not necessarily see or recognize. And so having that input on what's really more important, there may be a bridge or a tube or whatever that maybe you know, needs to be widened, something along those lines, but it's really that kind of information before we spend $250,000 to rebuild a road. Having that input from you folks in that area would really mean a lot. And I'm gonna give an example. Mark and I went to several of KDOT's consult meetings, and by us being there and giving them input on 75 Highway and the corridor north of Holton up here, changed their perspective in their minds, and now that's on their radar to be done. That's similar to what we want to do with our townships. Just open up some conversation between you in these different townships. So,
Linda?
I mean, we don't have any special projects planned for 2026,
No.
so we're just gonna.
2026 is more or less trying to get things back to square one, rebuild ditches, get the ditches cleaned out, get the water off the roads, things like that. That's what we're looking to do in 2026. You know, we're gonna finish W. That's just so all of you will understand that W is gonna be finished to Whiting, and we're gonna get that done because that's been too long of a project. That's taken way too long. So it was being done before I ever got on there. So I'll open it up and you know, look, one at a time, please. We don't want people shouting over each other. Paul, put your hand up.
How many miles on W Road was it?
From W, it's from
254.
254 on down past where the dust control ended, and on down into Whiting, north into Whiting. And that's an FAS route, so that's one of them we thought needed to be, or you know, before I got on there, thought needed to be done, and it just needs
How
to
many
be
miles is
finished.
that?
2, 3, 4,
Almost 7.
5,
Yeah.
6.5.
Yeah. Thank you.
so I'd like to get some input from those of you. Just if you would, just tell what township you live in, and then what your thoughts are on putting together 2 or 3 people to represent.
Yes, sir.
I'm originally from Nemo County Township. South Corning, we have townships there, and we have 3 people per township who go around, and then they would let people know where they needed rock and this and that and the other, and that worked out pretty well.
Okay.
So
that's-
you've been in favor
Yeah.
of being part of that, and,
You bet.
okay.
Okay, perfect. And what township are you with right now?
Say again?
I say, what township are you? There we go. Okay, yep.
Well, I'm in Straight Creek Township where I live, but I drive all the roads. I'm gonna throw this out there, you guys can throw stuff at me if you want. But you guys have done more in the last 3 to 5 years all over the county trying to get dirt out of the ditches and water off the road, but a lot of the roads are still terrible. We won't live long enough to see them all fixed.
You won't get disagreement here.
Yeah, we agree.
Whiting, the W road, it's pretty amazing how well you have rebuilt that road. My biggest problem now, people drive too fast on it. But what did that cost a mile? I mean, you got the water off the road, you have fixed it, it's great. And
It's gonna cost, another 75 to 80,000 to finish what needs to be done, which is bringing in additional lifts of gravel to finish that. Wet it, roll it, and get it done. I don't have the numbers.
Yeah, I don't have the
in
numbers
front of
in front
me,
of me.
what we spent per mile on W.
I can get those for you.
Yeah.
no, I mean, it's good and it needed done. It was a wide road and narrowed it up a little bit, and the water's getting off of it. They've done that to other roads, but then I'll drive on roads that are just like they always were.
Yeah.
You know, but that was my question.
Yeah, and they've been, in the last 5 years, we have put more gravel on roads in the county than they did prior to that 5 years.
We were fortunate that we had money to do that, that they didn't have in prior years.
Right.
You know.
But yeah, that's our priority is to get gravel out on these roads. Like Linda talked about, there won't be any projects like we normally do, because those projects. It's difficult because then you pull operators off their normal route to go do construction work, basically, to rebuild a road. Then those routes in various districts or communities or townships suffer from that because that operator's not there. So this year, we're gonna focus on the operators staying in their area and just hauling gravel to those areas to get them done.
Larry?
Are you gonna give them the support equipment they need to do the job right? I mean, you guys won't ever clean a road ditch out because you won't give them a skid loader or dump truck or nothing to haul it off the stockpile.
I would disagree with you. We've spent, respectfully disagree with you, we've spent more on machinery in the last 5 years, and we've actually gotten chastised for that. But Road and Bridge has the best equipment that money can buy right now. And if you don't believe that, I'll meet you out there and I'll show you what we purchased.
I'll agree with you on that,
Yeah,
but you
and
don't use it.
I think you heard otherwise right over here, from Rob.
You used it on Dudley Road, but you don't use it on it.
Yeah, I'd be glad to sit down with you and go over all the roads that we've rebuilt, 106 down by Delia. There's multiple roads around the county where we've done that. Just for instance, we got 605 phone calls on just issues on roads in 2025. And of those 605, 538 were taken care of. So I would say that we're doing the very best we can with the funds that we have and the personnel that we have. Again, it's finding that balance of not pulling an operator out of his district to go do something. It's like, you know, asking a postman to go sort mail someplace for 3 weeks and then go back to his normal route and get caught up. It just doesn't work very well. So we're trying
A
to,
lot of these roads could be fixed without much rock, if you just get the edges all.
And that's what we're trying to do. I mean,
I agree.
for years, they were told, don't get in the ditches, leave them alone.
yeah.
And we're like, get in the ditches, get them cleaned out, get the crown back on the road, get the water off the road.
Yeah, we
You
have
need to be one of our township people.
yeah.
And
What township are you from? Straight Creek, yeah.
And we are not, and Dan before Linda and the three of us, or two of us still here, we don't tell the grader operator, we have several operators here, that you have to get X amount of miles a day. We don't tell them that. We tell them, go up and down the roads, if you see something, stop, call in, hey, I've got a problem here, I'm gonna fix it, I might need a load of rock, whatever. We don't tell them you gotta get 10 miles a day, 4 miles a day, 5 miles a day. It's your township, your area that you were in, some were in a couple townships on the edges and everything. We don't say that, we say, fix what you see. And I think for the most part, they're trying to do that, but there are so many trouble spots right now that it's hard for them to actually do that.
Are you in favor of having some representatives from Straight Creek
I
come and
would
meet?
like to have representatives, but I don't wanna go to townships. I don't want.
Oh, no.
And we're not interested, we couldn't afford, the townships couldn't afford to do that, because some of them are so densely popular, don't have very many homes in it, and people live in it.
Sparsely, thank you, Rick.
It wouldn't work. What we're just asking is for some folks from each township to come in once a quarter. You would meet with the commission, road and bridge, superintendent, foreman, public works director would be here. And we would just have that conversation about, here's maybe how much money we have to spend this year, here's some of the projects we see in your area. What are your thoughts on that? Because what we see as a complete rebuild or an issue may not necessarily be what people who live in that area see as an issue. If that makes sense.
Is that gonna be an evening meeting or during the day when, you know, majority of people actually have a job and go to work?
No, it'll be just like this.
Just
Just like this,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We understand that people, what township are you from and your name?
Soldier.
Soldier, okay,
Time limit.
okay. Yeah,
And I know that corner of the county just seems like it just gets band-aided. It doesn't get, there ain't much stuff that gets actually done over there. And if it does, it stops at C Road, which obviously, I mean, we got a doctor who lives on C Road, so I know that gets taken care of well, but you go beyond that to the west, it don't get hardly touched.
Do you ever call into Road
I
and Bridge
do,
and
I have
tell
called
them?
it, yes, I have.
Okay.
I appreciate you doing that, because that's an important piece of this, is having the public be able to call in and stay.
I mean, I've actually been in discussion with Mark and Scott Kefauver as well about some ditch work that needs to be done, and, you know, there hasn't been no plans, and, you know, I even called about, you know, a scheduling scenario of it, and, you know, she didn't have any idea, the gal that I talked to at Road and Bridge, and there was nothing on the schedule for anything.
And that's what we're trying to alleviate that, what you're talking about right there. Is
But,
trying to do, so that's what this whole thing's about.
Right, no, that's why I'm here.
Brett?
So, yes, I am the Straight Creek Township treasurer, and you guys have made very good points. We do not want to go to the townships, obviously. You did touch on the operators, the blade operators doing it. We need a blade operator in our township. I know everything else, and I know all these other people have been up. I'm not here to fix, but we need a blade operator. We do not have one. I mean, I know you can say, I'm not gonna name his name, you can say that we have one, but we do not, especially when multiple people call in. And he does not put the blade down, he's driving 5 miles an hour. My son tells me he goes up and down the mud roads right beside our house all summer long, every week and a half, but does not have the blade down. That is one big key thing. On this project, obviously, I have a few good friends that work for the county. I just asked, it was not him that came down and bladed my road, and my road is an FSA road. He did not, it was one of my friends that did. Pushing snow last year, did not. He did not come down at one time, because I had 2 other people tell me, well, I was by your house pushing snow. There's a whole lot of things that we need to go to, and yes, I'll be on it, even though I'm already elected to be on it. Not my choice, but that's what good friends are called. But yes, it is a problem,
Sure.
and that's what I think Larry and Rob and a bunch of us we don't see it. I mean,
Okay.
it was last year before the big snow. It was October. I mean, that's October to January, okay? And he didn't even come down for the snow. The next time, he did some in April. Okay, it was April. I called, I'm not gonna name names, but my friend, and he came down and he did it himself, taking him away from the project, and he did it himself. And that was April to, well, almost September, October, so that's how many months. And other than that, we do not see anything. I
Okay.
mean,
And to address one of the things that you said.
one more thing though, one more
Yeah, go
thing.
ahead.
Please leave Ethan down in Franklin Township, because I love that kid. He's great. And let him teach newer ones.
And then, you know, that's what we're trying to do too, is trying to get some of the newer blade operators taught the correct way and what they need to do. But to address something that you said there, and I'm not making excuses, I'm just gonna make a statement of fact, that if you see a blade operator running down the road and he's got his blade up and he's going, it doesn't mean that he's not doing anything. He might be going from point A to point B where he was supposed to be doing it, and you understand what I'm saying there.
But not when it's 5 miles an hour.
No, oh no, they need to be running.
That's a common occurrence
Yep.
from a lot of people.
Yeah, and I can give you a good example of that. We had a young guy, good operator, but he was spending a lot of time running around chasing some of these calls. And after a conversation with him that, you know, you can't run all over your district just trying to put out fires, you'll never get anything done. Prioritize them and maintain your roads through your route like you're supposed to, and get those as you can, and that, I think, helps.
Where are you getting your rock from?
Hang on just a second. Yes, sir.
I'm Jeff Green from Garfield Township. Back to the training of operators, do we have in the county any design standards, engineering standards, what these
Absolutely.
roads are supposed to look like?
Yes,
We do. Yeah, and each of the operators have that available to them. It's through the LTAP. It's a set of standards that the engineer from LTAP has set up. You can go through the book, you can see the slope of the road, how the ditches are supposed to be cut. I will tell you that not everybody adheres to that, but that's where the superintendent has to hold people accountable for what they're doing. And we have a new superintendent, Joe Gardner. He has just come on the last month and a half, and his job is to hold people accountable. And I will tell you, if people are not doing their job and they refuse to change, they will no longer work for us.
He's a good guy.
You know Joe?
He went to KTA right after I started.
Joe is, I think he hasn't retired from the military, but he's 25 plus years in the military. So, yeah.
Where's Ty?
Where do you guys get your road rock from for the areas? I mean, it just seems real limey. I mean, that stuff just crushes
We get
like.
it from Soldier, we get it from,
4 different places.
down here by Denison, and for the W Road project up there, we are getting it over at Cummings.
I mean, you guys put some rock there just south of my drive, and, you know, the next day, I mean, the rock is pretty well gone, or crushed, and it was so limey and muddy. I mean, it was bad.
Some of the rock that we were getting, even though it was supposed to be up to standards, it had too many fines in it. And we told them about it, and
They switched immediately and started pulling
Yeah.
another quarry.
Yep.
I just think that what we've been spending the money on for rock is not been.
Hang on, and I got Bruce back here. Hang on just a second. Bruce is back here.
Well, I think what you're looking at, guys, is you're looking at massive amount of decades of just trying to throw a patch on these roads. Jackson County is fortunate enough that you've got every kind of glacier till dirt you've ever wanted. I know that from my geotechnical background. And not every load of rock's gonna fix what you got on. We need to be looking at, and this fellow alluded about the rock. KDOT specs, are we looking at freeze-thaw standards on this rock, or are we just buying rock? Because that is something that will help you extend the life of that rock, is if you got the freeze-thaw report. KDOT has a testing lab. You got a guy in Jackson County that does a very good job in gathering that and help test it, and he can tell you whether it's suitable or not. Because some of this, and I agree with what he says, some of it turns into just liquid lime within the second 2 inches of second, we get 2 inches of rain.
Yeah.
And I think, maybe we gotta back up and relook at the standards and what's going on. I can remember when we hauled all this Bausch stuff on the roads, in southern Jackson County. Some of them made its way north. Keith, in your area, that's the reason you'll never keep U4 up until you go in there and do something with the subgrade, because our subgrades is terrible.
It is, in a lot of places.
And we're years behind on the subgrade because we ain't got the water off these ditches. Q4, the old Highway 75, you guys finally come in after me begging and pleading 20 years with road managers. But, you're about 10 years too late, because that road is breaking off really bad on the sides, and these trucks ain't any smaller.
And
You're right, that's a good point, Bruce, that the trucks running up and down these roads are not what used to be in the 70s.
Right.
And so it takes a toll on a lot of these
Well,
roads.
when
And
you
I have
start
one,
seeing
so I know exactly what it does. But
And-
you bring up a good point, Bruce, about testing this rock. So you're
Yeah.
saying I'm not familiar with the term that you're using.
KDOT has a standard, and they will test these rock piles. And if any of you guys has hauled into the quarry and paid any attention to them little signs they got out there, it'll say on them a lot of time, KDOT such and such a number, such and such a test. And if you're gonna do anything, 'cause I work predominantly with the watersheds and some small residential roads, and I guess we redid the industrial park road through the engineering company. But I think you need to look at that. I also think
some of these tough spots that you keep going back every time, every 2 years, Assistant Newtons, that you might need to look at a little bit of geotechnical assistance and maybe hydrate finish lime or fly ash or bentonite or something that will help soak that up. And you may even have to go to the fact, we're seeing a lot of geotextile fabric being put down now to help hold that. 75, case in point, everybody travels it down there at 110. They tried to bury that spring and they've never buried it and they're never gonna get it buried. But that engineer that they had in there, after 1 o'clock, he pretty well had his nose in the bottle, and whatever happened, and the contractor snuck that one in on him because there was 2 more springs on down that hill to the north. It's drained out in that valley and they still run to this day. But I just don't think one load of rock is gonna fix what you've got.
No, you're correct. I mean,
And this
so we're-
fella here talking about the Nemaha County thing, I'm gonna strike a sore note. But I was a lead inspector up there on the wind farm. And when you're bringing in 100-ton generators, it's amazing how much money there is in a grant to put 3-inch gravel down on a road that's never seen a bit of rock and never have to touch them for 6 or 8 years to blade them.
Sure.
But they're that good. But that's one thing that helped Nemaha County get way ahead of the game on the rest of us. The same thing happened in Ness County and Rush County out there when I was out there. If they needed it, the budget was unlimited on them roads.
Diana?
You were talking about the rock. I was up here to your meeting a couple weeks ago. Scott said, we're not getting it from south of Denison because it's too high. We're getting it from Soldier and Atchison, am I correct?
For the W road, we were getting it from Atchison. We weren't getting it down here at Denison because they didn't have any down there that was ready for us.
Okay,
normally-
this is a
normally
couple
we
weeks
will
ago
have
when I
it.
talked to you
Yeah.
about this.
You're right.
Because it was too high from Denison, so they're going to Atchison to get it. And I asked,
Okay, hang on, I'll correct you. The Atchison was what we were using for W. Down here at Denison, they've raised the price twice this year. We just got a
25.
We just got a call, yeah, 25, thank you. It's this year. We just this year got a price increase from Soldier, so it's all going up. And that's one of the things that, we're having to deal with too, is the price of rock's going up. But the Cummings rock was because we were closer there for W to haul it out of there, and they were out down here. So
And the Denison
when did
rock
you
is-
start working on the W road?
before I got elected. That's why I
The
was.
Denison rock is very good rock.
It's great.
Yes.
It is. It's just very expensive. So I will tell you that we do get a rebate back from Bettis on that on an annual basis for every ton sold out of there. So that does help. I think last year, maybe $90,000 came back, and that goes straight back into our rock budget. So that was something that we negotiated with them. But yeah, the price of rock when I started 5 years ago was $13 and some change, and it's well over 19 county cost. You guys in the public, probably north of 21.
And we're using our guys, the county guys that we have to haul that rock?
Yes.
Yes,
We're not getting outside people?
we have in the past.
Not right now, though.
No, not right now. So when we were working on the road up by Jackson Heights, we actually hired belly dumps from Bettis, simply because they could be there early and they were hauling, that's all they did, and it just made sense to do that. And that way we kept our trucks out going into the district with the blades. So we have done that in the past. We've hired subcontractors.
My neighbor man had mentioned to me, we live on 206,
Uh-huh.
and he mentioned there was 3 dump trucks down there with gravel, and not a bit of it was put on the road. Can you answer why?
Where was it put?
We don't know, because it's not around us.
I couldn't answer but are you implying that it went to somebody's home?
We don't know where it went. We don't know what the 3 dump trucks were doing with the rock and not dumping it.
They
on the
might have
road.
been traveling that way to W. I mean, I'm not sure, Diana.
Yeah.
Well, we live on, east of X Road.
Sure.
So if they wanna go to W, they're gonna go a different route, they're not gonna come to 206 at a dead end.
I think when you were up here a few weeks ago, are you interested in being one of the representatives from your district? I think you implied.
Yeah, you may not want me to.
Oh,
No, no.
You already
Because I guess I don't believe that there should be a controversy between those of you who are representing your township and us. We're trying to work together. It should be just a conversation and be able to work together. So I mean, I thought some of your statements when you were up here were spot on. So, yeah, I look forward to being able to work with you.
Well, these guys are all taxpayers. Our taxes keep going up and our roads get worse, so that's where we're at.
I'll disagree with you that they're getting worse. I think we've made some real strides to make some improvements. Sometimes what happens is all we ever see is what's in front of our own house. And that's what gets our attention the most, right? But I think if you drive the county and you look at some of these projects that we've done and the rock that we've put on, you would see that, you know, there has been an improvement overall. Because I'll tell you, when I became a commissioner 5 years ago, there was $1.5 million sitting in the 0.4% sales tax fund that had not been spent in the previous year. And my question was, why?
I can understand that.
Why wouldn't you spend that money and put the gravel on the roads? So there's a big difference. We spent $1.7 million on gravel last year. 1.7 million. And so,
How about down by the tribe, are we rocking their roads?
we haven't got to a conclusion on that. We're still waiting on information. Sorry if I.
No, you're jumping right in.
But Bureau of Indian Affairs is who we're dealing with on that. We have some bridges that they built. Nobody's been inspecting them, and now they want us to inspect them. And some of these are $1 million bridges that need to be rebuilt. You know the story we talked about,
Oh, yes.
right?
Yes.
There's
Thank you for
54
bringing it
miles.
to light.
54 miles of road down there on the reservation that we've been maintaining. Our question wasn't whether we should or shouldn't be continuing, but if they're getting BIA funds to maintain those, then we shouldn't be maintaining them, or we should be getting reimbursed for that.
Reimbursed for everything we do.
And so we're talking, Scott pulled some numbers for us, excess of $5 million in the history of that.
Yeah.
So that thing has gotten blown completely out of proportion, that we're not wanting to serve the Prairie Band Potawatomi Reservation. That is not true.
Some of those
There's
guys
no-
never actually pay taxes.
On certain
Some,
parts.
until they buy ground and put it in the trust.
And
They do not.
that's not the issue. The issue is if these bridges are being built with federal and state tax dollars, and then we're expected to rebuild them, we just need to know whose responsibility they are. And the Bureau of Indian Affairs, we're struggling with them to identify that.
And you get answers back from them.
Yeah, and I will say it publicly, I don't think it's our responsibility if we didn't build those bridges to make everybody in this county spend $1 million on a bridge. I just don't think it's right.
Haven't you said that you've talked to some of the representatives of our state and they're not doing anything about it? They just kind of
At the
brush you
federal
off?
level.
Federal level.
Okay.
Yeah, Jerry Moran, Roger Marshall,
Yes.
Tracy Mann.
Yeah.
I've been to DC twice. I think I've shared with you, Rob, the legislation we were supposed to have passed. Roger Marshall swore up and down he was going to pass this legislation, which would have repaid us as a county for all the 33,000 acres that have been taken off. Again, our fight is not with the tribe, it's not with the Prairie Band people, it is with the federal government. It is a federal program that is allowing land to be taken off the tax roll, and the unintended consequence is you and I have to make up that consequence. Even Prairie Band Potawatomi landowners have to make up that. They pay property taxes on the homes and the stuff that they own. Their property taxes have to go up to maintain what we currently have every time something goes off the tax roll. So
So what about when they buy off the reservation put it in the trust, and they're not paying county taxes, because I can guarantee you that.
Oh, wait,
Why
that's
don't-
where the truck stop
And it is
is.
happening more and more.
That's
Yeah,
where
the
the truck stop is. The truck
is
stop
absolutely
And
not gonna
again,
happen.
It's
Anything.
not a fight with the prairie band fight, it's the federal rules,
They're-
they're fault.
They're
playing the
allowed to
game.
buy anything, anywhere, and put it into USA Trust. Again, our argument is with the federal government. They're allowing this to happen, therefore they should be the one to compensate us for those lost revenues. It's pretty simple.
Can we maybe go through some of our state representatives
Glad you
and
brought that up.
senators?
Glad you brought that up.
Representatives and senators, and maybe
Craig-
get the ball rolling.
Craig Bowser has taken up
Okay.
our fight. I spoke with him 6 months ago. I met with a guy out of Wichita that is a state senator, and they are taking up our fight. They believe that maybe their voice will speak louder with their federal partners than what mine does, or than what yours does. I will tell each and every one of you, though, I want you to keep it in mind when it comes time for reelection.
Yes.
Because I have said, there's 13,000 people in this county. May not be a big deal to them, but we all vote, or a lot of us vote. So, if they're not willing to at least work with us and try to figure out a solution to this problem, we are very rare as a county. This doesn't happen. We had the federal government researched it. We are probably the only county that this happens in because of the way the Kansas Act was set up in the 30s that dealt with the tribe and the reservation. It's very unique. Our sheriff has full authority over the reservation. Most reservations, it doesn't work that way. So it's some things like that. Again, I don't have a problem with the tribe buying anything they want and building anything they want. That's great. I'm all for it. But the federal government needs to step in and help take care of it. They create it.
So Brown County doesn't have this problem, is what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
They have very little land and trust.
But we're
Justin?
getting kind of off the
Yeah.
side.
We talked about training our operators. Who's training them? Are we picking our best operator in the county, or are we sending them? CAT used to do CAT schooling on any new equipment. We're running primarily CAT graders. Are we still having
As
CAT?
far as I know, we're training them with the best operators.
We actually do both. So, yes,
Who's in charge of-
we send them out. The Kansas LTAP has a program. Bryson, what's it stand for? Do you remember the LTAP? Yeah, they have, it's an acronym for it, but they have a training thing that we have sent operators to. But then, who was the guy that you mentioned down south, or over here, that's your blade
Ethan.
out?
Ethan, yes.
So,
Very good operator.
yeah, and I believe AJ, who is down south, has worked with him, and he's been training him. They run tandem together, they do a lot of work together. That's how to me, you put him with the guys who are doing a good job, and you try to get them to emulate that. But I'll tell you, a blade is probably one of the toughest pieces of construction equipment to learn to run and to operate well, in my opinion. And so it does take time. It takes time for a guy to get good and figure out the nuances of it. Would you agree? I mean, you run a lot of big equipment and stuff, and if a guy's not working out, we're probably not gonna keep him in that position.
Properly equipped blade, I always thought was easy to run.
Okay? Well, based on my research, let's put it that way, trying to keep it your 4% slope and getting everything right. It's a little more complicated than maybe.
Well, we don't have, the next thing I was gonna ask is quality control. You're talking about all this that we have, but who's going around? Because I travel all these roads. I'm one of them that's responsible for destroying a lot of roads come silage season.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, who is going around doing quality control? Because I've seen us go spend 6 days hauling rock for a half mile down the road, 3/4 of a mile. 6 months later, we realized we didn't clean the ditch. We're dragging all the mud and the dirt back out, putting it on the shoulders. We come through, haul 1,000 tons of silage down that road, and we destroy it in 5 hours. We have no base, we have no quality control. If we're gonna clean the ditches first, then haul the rock. And let's narrow these up.
That's what we're trying to do right now, Justin, that's what we're trying to do.
Because there's no crown on 238 road. at all. It's flat, goes right through a bottom. There's problems, but it can be addressed easily because we're building express lanes with no base to land airplanes on. Everybody talks about the other counties around. What are their roads like in comparison to ours? You slow down because they're one-lane roads when you meet somebody. We've got bridges that are 5 foot narrower than our roads because we have crowded our roads out. Our ditches are gone because we've shoved our roads into our ditches.
You won't get an argument from me. I think most of the roads, a lot of the roads are way too wide. And so we spend a lot of extra money so people can drive 60 mile an hour on them. Doesn't make sense to me. They're country roads, right? And you're right, big equipment tears up a lot of roads.
Completely agree. You can do so much with the blade and then put more rock in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You do
no, I
not
agree.
need all the other equipment.
I had somebody, was it you, Tyler, or somebody else over here had hand up? Okay, back over here. Hey, Frank.
I'm in Jefferson County, and I'm on 238th Road. I'm only a quarter mile from the highway. I don't know what 238th Road, where you're at.
Just north of 116.
Okay.
East of Holton.
Well, I mean, I live on 238, we're out on 238th Road. Because my 238th Road is excellent, but I'm only a quarter mile from the highway. But it's a lot better shape now than it has been in years. It used to be, there's a big windrow on the side. Now it's crowned and it runs off. But like I said, I'm only a quarter mile from the road, from the highway, so it's good there. But my question is, he's talking about the rock, testing the rock, and you're talking about how high it was at Denison. If it's better quality, are we better off in the long run, paying more? And to me, that's something worth looking into is testing.
We haul over 60,000 tons out of there a year, out of Denison, just out of Denison. That's what our agreement is.
Ty?
My question is you said last year we spent 1.7 million on rock, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I recall from the budget meeting that it was asked for $2 million in road rock. But you, in last year's budget, was budgeted for 1.3 million,
Correct.
and now we're down to $1 million. Is that correct? Is
That's
that
correct.
accurate? Is that still accurate?
100%.
Okay,
right
so
there. Good, very good.
Rock price has gone up,
It has.
correct? So now we got less rock than what we had for the last year.
We have less money in the rock budget, so I'll explain
Correct,
that
but
in just a
it'll,
minute.
in turn, it's gonna provide us less rock. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you have a solution for that?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. I appreciate your question.
Yes.
And I really appreciate the fact that you know your numbers, because most people don't pay attention to that. You are correct. We had 1.3 million budget. We reduced that to $1 million. Why? Because we had to cut the budget somewhere to be revenue neutral. Because we had people showing up angry because their property tax has gone up, right? So we cut, and Christie's pretty good master at this and really helped us whittle away at some stuff, but we pulled 300,000 out of that. With that being said, right after the first of the year, we were able to transfer some money because some departments didn't spend it all, and so we have about $46,000 a month that comes in through the 0.04% sales tax, $500,000 to $600,000 there. We have the Kansas
Special fuel and.
it's the highway reimbursement money. Yeah, that goes back into it. So we've done our calculations. We're gonna have more money for rock. It's just that one piece that's budgeted. So we have different areas that money for rock can come from. And that's one piece of it. But the biggest piece that you all can help with, if you don't want to see property taxes go up in August in the primary, you need to come vote for the sales tax, 0.05%.
April in the primary.
No, August.
All right.
August. If you'll come vote for that 0.05% sales tax, it's 0.1% more than it has been over the last 10 years, right? But 35% of that is paid for by people who don't live in this county because they come spend their dollars here. I think sales tax is one of the most pure way to get funds for a county, as opposed to ad valorem tax, or property tax. So that will increase the amount of money that we can put into rock without having to tax you for it. Does that help?
That makes sense?
That is,
Clears it up a little bit, yeah.
that is our goal.
I just wanna be sure that, I mean, I wanna make sure that, you know, we have access to rock when we're definitely gonna be needing it. And if
Yep,
we're
for sure.
$700,000 shy of what we, you know, of what we spent last year just for your guys' actual budget for property taxes, I wanna make sure that we're gonna have the money for it.
I'd say we
It's
were-
all about playing the game to become revenue neutral for the state of Kansas, because they want us to be revenue neutral, and everybody wanted us to be revenue neutral. Don't raise our property tax. Well, I'm here to tell you folks, I pay property taxes just like everybody else does, and it pisses me off when I have to write the check. Sorry for my French, but it does. But the only way to operate a county, unless somebody here can tell me how to gain revenue without property tax, I don't know what the answer to that is yet, and the state of Kansas hasn't figured it out either. So we try to do the very best we can to not raise your property taxes a lot, but yet we have employees who want raises, we have health insurance that goes up every year, and we are looking at changing health insurance in '27 to cheapen that, so that we don't have to pay as much. And rock goes up, tubes go up, machinery. A grader now is $450,000. So one of the things we've looked at, and I don't mean to preach too much here, but one of the things we've been using is a road groomer. It's a piece of equipment that pulls behind a tractor. And I would disagree with you. It's not. I think it's a good piece of
When they're
equipment.
bringing up 3-inch rock. They're
that's-
bringing up 3-inch rock.
I understand that, but the
What's
problem,
3-inch
the
rock?
problem,
In your mind, what is a 3-inch rock for? Correct.
the problem is not the piece of equipment. The problem is that road doesn't have enough rock on it. And so
why-
we're gonna fix
Why
that.
is the groomer on it? It doesn't have enough rock.
That's a
You know
question,
it's-
that's a question we can address later. But this piece of equipment does a good job, it gets over more miles, and it's less than $20,000 for that piece of equipment. So if we can use it in combination with road graders, not put as many miles on them, but yet scarify the road and bring that gravel back in, and if it's used correctly, it won't take the crown out of the road. If it's used incorrectly, it'll take the crown out of the road. Would you agree with me?
The reason it's not taking the crown out is because of getting on the shoulder and making a secondary ditch.
Not if it's run correctly. Again, it's all about the way it's operated. If
And
you run it, I've
it.
watched the piece of equipment run, and I've watched it run correctly. And one of the biggest benefits, it'll get over in the grass and drag gravel out of that grass without dragging all the grass out. That's huge.
Okay, you're in the grass, all right, it's digging in. In your mind, wouldn't it not tell you that you get a heavy rain, the water's gonna follow that ridge that you made there?
No, it wouldn't, because you shouldn't be, if it's being used correctly. The key here is using the piece of equipment correctly. There are some guys who weren't running it right, and there are some guys who are running it correctly. We can debate that later. But back to your point, we're trying to do the very best we can with the funds that we have without having to raise taxes. So hopefully that gives you an answer.
Fred?
Back to his point, if you do this to have townships, they can let you know where they're using this piece of equipment, they're using it wrong, rather than maybe supervisor covering up for somebody. The township people can let you guys know something's not right here.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, that's what the conversations are about, so, yeah.
correct.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
About maybe 2 years ago, we live on T Road, and dead ends, you have to go around the section, and then it becomes a mud road. It used to be a low water bridge there. But they spent $330,000 for a bridge.
That I could not answer. I don't know what they spent on it. That's been a long time ago.
It's a state funded project.
I could not answer that.
I thought it was strange, to put a put that much money in.
It's been 3 years ago,
Yeah.
it was a state funded project.
It was a state funded
I
project.
do hear.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
okay. Yes, ma'am.
Nancy Davidson from Cedar Township. Our roads, I think the only one that's really been improved was S Road, when they cleaned the ditches out between 158 and 142. They went on down to 134, down to the pavement, past Earhart's, or to Earhart's. The rest of our roads are not good. I drive 166 every day to get to the highway from our road, and I could lose my car in a pothole. That's how bad that road is. And I have called in and complained, and it doesn't seem like anything's done. But, you know, there's natural springs that runs almost all the way down 166. And until, you know, we get some decent rock or a decent road grader, we haven't had a decent road grader since Bruce Hinkle quit. We have not. So, I don't know what the answer is, but, you know, we need something done, because you can drive around the section.
Have you driven east on 166 from S Road?
Yes, I drive
There's-
that,
there's
we
been a
drive
lot of
that
work
all
done
that
on
time.
road. W Road has been worked on, 158 from 75 Highway, or right there at Road Diggers, all the way to.
Yeah, but it's not
T.
been maintained though, Keith, because there's potholes right back in it.
And-
Not been maintained.
Yeah, and you're not gonna go through, potholes are gonna come.
And I
at different times of
understand that,
year.
I
Yeah.
understand
Okay.
that. But
Okay.
I mean, I'm out and about all weekend long, during the week, whatever, and I never see a road grader in our area
Okay.
at all. And, I mean, it just keeps getting worse.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but, I mean, we definitely need some help.
So would you be willing to serve on your township?
Heck, yeah, I
Okay.
would.
So, so what I'm gonna ask, hang on just a second, so what I'm gonna ask is in the meeting, Chris has got a pad of paper up here, if you're willing to serve as a representative for your township, come up, put your name on the piece of paper, your phone number, your email address, whatever, so we can get a list going of who is willing to serve, okay?
Okay.
Justin?
What I've been hearing, everybody's saying we don't have very good blade operators, but there's a few of us that have the luxury of having good operators in our territories. Why don't we run them guys in tandem? You're talking about training them, let's put these guys in tandem and let's blade 10 miles a day together and get these things, get a crown back in them. The guys that got the good operators got good crowns. We don't have as many potholes on top of hilltops or on the side of hills. Let's put some of these guys together that can do it, so when you say you gotta pull them off to another job, you've got a third of your townships in good shape. You take your average operators and they go do clean ditches. How can we screw them up? They're already bad. But our roads, everybody's got to drive on. Let's put these guys that are good together and run 2 or 3 of the machines one pass. You've got how many blades running in the county maintaining how many roads? What's the average operator got to cover?
About 100 miles.
And what's the cycle? You want 100 miles covered in 30 days?
I don't have a cycle because.
There is no cycle, like we
Because,
said.
again, we've talked about this, that if you're blading a road and you see issues at a bridge, or you see drainage issues, like you're talking about the secondary ditches, where it's, fix them while you're there. That's always been, from this board, that's always been what we have asked them to do. We don't require that they get over so many roads, because when you do that, they put in gear, they look up and they drive. I got over my allotted number today. Kind of like building tires at Goodyear, right? I built however many I needed today and I'm done. It doesn't work that way running a blade. If you're gonna blade a road and do it correctly, the time to fix it's when you see it. And that's what we've always asked them to do.
Yeah, but shouldn't we be covering that 100 miles at least once every 30 days? And I understand that there's some routes, because I've been on all these roads. There's a lot of heavily traveled roads.
There are.
158 going east, 166 going east, you're right. W Road south of Denison. 142nd Road would be crap if we didn't have Bettis down there helping
Helping do what?
help maintain it and get
They
it
don't
started.
maintain it. 142 is not maintaining anything by Bettis. We maintain it, the county.
We
maintains
maintain it, but
We
then they
build that
help.
road with our dollars. We maintain that road with our dollars. They give us a 15 cent per ton on all gravel sold back annually. They don't do anything to maintain that road. They don't put any rock on that road. We do. See, that road, before that quarry was ever opened, the county should have negotiated a contract with them to maintain that road, but that wasn't done. So once it was open, the horse is out, right?
But that road's traveled every day with thousands of tons. We
Right.
ought to have a blade on it once a week, so
No,
that
we
when we
shouldn't.
don't get a pothole in
No,
it.
we shouldn't. And I'll tell you why. It's sprayed with dust control.
Yeah.
And every spring, it's scarified and brought up, crown's put back in it, it's wet and rolled and sprayed. And once it's sprayed, you don't go back in and break that.
Now, shouldn't that be something they should help out with? Because we are also doing that with other roads that the taxpayer is
What do
paying
you
for.
mean they should help out?
Spring road. Why does the county taxpayers have to pay for the spring
Because-
road, for other roads? Nobody asked for it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, it used to be,
I'm
if
not,
you
I'm not
wanted it,
understanding what you're talking about. I didn't hear what you
the
said.
dust control. Nobody asked to go down 222 from town all the way to the highway. Nobody asked for that. Maybe Howard's might
Do
ask
you
for it, that's
understand,
fine.
do you understand the
Howard's been
benefit of
paid.
what it does?
I drive it every day.
Do you understand though what the benefit?
I do.
The reason, what's the reason for putting it on?
Dust control.
No,
Oh, is it for? Because then you gotta come back and you gotta scarify it.
The reason for putting it on is to hold the road together. When you hold the fines
It does.
around the gravel.
It does until it
It
rains,
would-
and it rains, and it rains.
Can I finish?
I drive it every day, every day.
okay, let's.
There's no argument
But,
with it. So-
but, hold on,
Take it
to
down
Justin,
a second.
to
Okay.
Justin's, on his deal, on maybe gang or whatever, people are also gonna have to learn, they're gonna have to drive through some grass, a little bit of this. In the dry times, that's the best time to fix a road.
Mhm.
I guarantee, yes, I know I work for the state, we cut shoulders and it made people mad, especially in town, not my problem, that's yours.
So
But what
everybody
I'm
hear
trying
that,
to say,
right?
yeah.
So when we come in and clean that ditch in front of your house,
Put the
No.
grass up in the road, put the dirt.
okay,
It
because
will go
we get
away.
a lot
In
of
the-
complaints on
In the
that.
dry, you know what? I understand, I drive a lot of them roads down there by Madden too. People gonna have to slow down. You put that out in the middle of the road, they're gonna slow down. You gotta wake up
Yes.
just a little bit earlier to go to work.
Yes, sir.
Talking about 222nd Road and the dust control, I would just say not have it also, mainly because.
You can't do nothing with it afterwards.
Right, it doesn't get bladed for a whole year.
Yeah, well, not a whole year, after this time
Maybe in
period.
October, I'm with you,
That's when
Kevin.
we started in October,
The bad
started
thing
grade
is,
goes out.
it may work if it's done properly,
Mhm.
but this last year, all it was done was bladed, it was shot on, and if they left and maybe came back in October and November. Other than somebody came about, I don't know, during the summer sometime with that tool you were talking about, holding behind a tractor. Don't think he was supposed to be on it, but he bladed it with that after the dust control was put on.
Should have been.
So, if I was the you guys, I would pull a hole on everybody that lives on that road. I don't think you find anybody that wants it.
Part of the reason for trying this in the county is because of the cost savings. So that you don't have to blade a road for 7 or 8 months if it's done correctly. And you stated that, if it's done correctly. I give you an example, U4 Road, 9 miles over from 142 to 94th. That road is held together really well. And so when you don't have the dust blowing out into the pasture, you don't have gravel leaving the road and moving. And so therefore, with the price of gravel, it's all staying in the road. the cost analysis on it, it saves us money.
It doesn't last as long as I think I don't think it lasts very long. It doesn't last from.
May, it was May,
Yeah.
October, till
It doesn't eliminate 100% of the dust. Again, that's not what it's designed for. It draws the moisture out of the air into the ground to hold the road together.
That's why I don't like dust control, calling it dust control, I just call it road stabilization, because that's what it is designed to. So.
If they do it again, they need to lay it properly and get the potholes out.
I would agree with you.
Settling the dust with it.
Yeah, but I would agree with you. It wasn't that correct.
In my opinion, I don't care.
So back to the whole, why we're here and finding out who wants to represent their township. If you think that's a good idea, again, Mark, let's talk about putting your name down so that we can get a hold of you. How this process will work is once a quarter, we'll meet back up here. We'll have a conversation. We'll have some, probably have some items to talk about with each township and what we see, and then run those past you. And that way, you can give us input back on that. So for instance, down in your township, if we see that these roads, certain roads down there need to be worked on, you may say, well, look, the people I talk to really think you should be working on this group of roads. That type of input, that's what we're looking for.
How many people are you looking to serve per township?
1 to 2.
1 to 2, 2 to 3, somewhere in there, just a small group, I mean, you know.
Yeah, we're getting this basically from when it was a township form of government, there were 3 people. It doesn't have to be, but basically you would be the person that if you want to visit with your neighbors, the people in your township, and find out where they see the priorities at, that's the information we need back to us.
How many miles are in Charlotte?
I couldn't answer that.
There's 1,100 miles of road that we maintain as a county. A percentage of those are minimum maintenance roads. Justin, I wanted to give you some information before you leave. So one of the things that we do as far as frequency, that operators are supposed to take their main roads, they're bladed more often than a secondary road would be. I'm going to give you an example, try to give you an example of a main road would be U4 road. That's a main road, gets a lot of traffic. A secondary might be, in my area, might be 150 road going east of the highway over to U4 road or U4 road. Not as wide, not as heavily traveled, right? Doesn't have a lot of commuter traffic every morning. 132, 142, 158, 166. Those are all main roads. Those need to be maintained more often than a secondary does. And then your minimum maintenance. We have told, given direction to Road and Bridge that in the spring and the fall, you want to be out on those minimum maintenance roads. You want to be making sure that guys that are going to grass, they can get down those roads, planting crops, they can get down them, cutting brush down, so the guys can get down them. Does it always work? No, because there's a lot of people that like to use those roads as playground and they get tore up. Can't do anything about that. I mean, other than call the sheriff, but does that help in understanding how we prioritize some of that?
I mean, it makes sense. I just feel like we don't see our blades out there for.
And I would agree with you. In some situations, you're not seeing that. That's why we have GPS on this equipment. And if there was a situation, I won't give names, but there was a situation where individuals said, well, I was just down that road 2 weeks ago. I said, great, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the GPS. Well, okay, I bladed a couple of ruts out. I said, so you didn't blade it 2 weeks ago? Well, no, not really. So see, that's a tool that our management can use to hold people accountable. And when they don't like the GPS, they can go find a job someplace else. Pretty simple.
Yes.
I've been sitting here listening to all these roads named off and the numbers and letters. I haven't heard one that's on the west side of 75.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
106 road coming out of Delia. Familiar with
I'm
that?
talking about the north and south road,
Oh, okay. So a letter road.
a letter.
Okay.
They must all be good roads.
But it's interesting that most of this is over on the east side of 75. So I've been listening all evening, so that was something that came up. And I know that's where most of the population is, but there's things over on the west side too.
There is.
What was the road? M Road? M Road over there. 2 years ago, M Road, we did a bunch of work on it.
That's an FSA, FAS or whatever route though.
And
Yeah,
where I
I'm
live
just
is
using that
off
as
of
an example
E,
for-
that's supposed to be one, whatever that was.
Federal and state.
Yeah, there's supposed to be one too, and when we get robbed, it's a stinking miracle.
So would you be interested in being a representative from your area?
Do you want?
I'll tell you, just like I told her back there, I want your input, I want your input. I don't think it's a us against you thing.
No.
That's not what this is supposed to be about. It should be a conversation when you come in and you say, I've talked to many of the people in my area, here's the roads we feel like you should spend the majority of your money
The
on.
thing
That's
of
the
it
input
is,
we want.
I was not raised in this area.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of them I don't even know.
That's okay.
And if I do, they're relevant.
But do you understand what we're trying to
Yeah.
set up there?
It should have been done a long time ago.
Can you keep the guys you got in charge?
Could be.
All right, I'm gonna stop that right here, right now. We are not here to talk about people who work the road and bridge. We're here to have a conversation, and I don't think it's fair. If that individual is here, if you have a problem with that individual, go out the road and bridge and have a conversation with him. But I don't think it's fair to talk about somebody who is not here, and I don't care who it would be, whether it's a blade operator that you don't agree with. I just don't think that's fair. That's not the conversation we're here to have.
Yes.
Well, just,
FAS route is federal secondary access.
I believe so.
And who
FSA.
determines that?
Federal government.
What's that?
Gets more than to it, or what?
No, this-
We get reimbursed for the rock that is put on it at a percentage up to a certain amount.
Okay, but is that like the bus routes and?
No,
No. No.
so,
It's a secondary,
what's that?
You're dodging Larry's question.
no, we're
I don't
not.
think I am. He asked
Hey,
what-
Brett,
Go ahead.
you were, hang on just a sec, you work for the state, that is a secondary route to cities and
Correct.
things like that. That is my understanding,
I
correct?
think it's actually, points that get to a highway.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean,
But it was set up in the
some
50s.
of them were, you've got 2 or 3 miles in between a road that, yes.
Right,
And it's set up
okay.
to assist on a higher travel road.
Right, it was set up in the 50s in order to get thoroughfares out to 75 or different.
Yeah.
Or
any
16 or
highway.
9 or
But-
whatever.
So what question am I dodging of this?
Hang on, Mr. Ram's got a
No,
question.
yeah?
Well, I just had a question, you talk about our grader operators, don't they, aren't they supposed to have some discretion if there's a bad spot in the road,
Yes.
call for rock?
100%.
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
We, sometimes that don't seem to get done, we have to call in. I don't feel like I ought to be calling in and gotta say, we got a spot here,
I agree with you.
I've called you far several times
Yeah.
about the T road down there. That, it just seems like they ought to be a little more aggressive in what needs something.
And that's where we have,
Yep.
we try to give our grader operators and truck drivers when they see something, the discretion to stop and fix it, then call in, tell them, hey, I got a problem here, I need a little rock, can you get it to me? And fix it while you're there. Yes, that is their discretion. Does it always happen? No. Because I think a lot of them still have the mindset that they've had it hammered into them for so long that we can't do that, we have to go, go, go.
But to give them an example, I mean, last week, we spent what was reported today, over $100,000 in 1 week on gravel hauled out to all different spots in the county. I mean,
Yep. I can give
it's
you
a
list.
balance of between, not spending out your entire budget by July and trying to maintain the roads and fill those spots when somebody calls in. But you only got so much gravel you can work with in a year. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, in a certain way, but a lot of these places, they've got these little scratcher deals in front of the main thing. They'll just drive 2 miles, do a little scratch in one little spot, and away they go. Whether right behind it or in front of it, they needed some more grading done to make that work so great. They just scratch her, away they go.
Okay.
We've come across the same issue over in our neck of the woods in Soldier Township as well. I understand what you're talking about. Yeah, just scratch a little bit and blade a little bit, and in places that need rock, they don't get.
But I don't part of the time, so if I could address what you just said.
Go ahead.
So there are times throughout the year, like today, there were guys who didn't get their blade because they thought the ground was too hard. We had guys who were in their blade, and they were using that scarifier, and they were out, and they will go to where those potholes are, they'll work those potholes out, reshape it, and then move on down the road. Sometimes that's what you're seeing, is working potholes out and then moving on. This happens to be one of those times of the year, and I think it was.
Oh, I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not arguing.
I'm
just saying I've seen the same scenario as what he's talking
and
about.
that's what the community sees from time to time, and they think, well, why is the guy driving down the road, doing a little work and then moving on and not blazing the road? So if that helps with the explanation of what they're doing.
But I also don't think that throwing rock at everything is the answer either.
No,
I mean, you have to go fix
absolutely
the
not.
issue.
No.
I mean,
Nope, I agree.
we have to get something cleaned up, especially in the summer, whenever it's done. We have to get it cleaned out, scarify the potholes, then bring it, and not spread the rock all the way across the road. Keep it in the center. It works its way.
up, Braylon?
Isn't that amazing how that'll work?
Huh?
It's amazing how that works.
I know, but there's a lot of it, and Justin mentioned 238 is spread clear across it. You can park 3 vehicles in the middle of it.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
Yeah.
Yep. Did everybody get the list to sign up? Oh, hang on, Fred.
I have a question, where does the maintainer stop and where does the highway, people start, you coming off the highway, is it the fence line? Because it's potholes right off the highway, and I'm talking to the state department, they came in and worked, did a very good job, but where does the county start and where does the highway?
Typically at the end of the asphalt.
Well, yeah, you got a state
Where do you
guy right
live?
here that you can talk to.
What do you say, Mark?
I said, you got a state guy right here you can talk to about that.
Put your complaints in with that. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
79 goes to Circleville.
Yeah, east. Oh, right there? We overlaid that. We overlaid it to the end of the right of way. That's all you're gonna get.
And you did a very good job with it.
Okay. Really high priority.
Can we get fly ash anymore from Jeffries?
I have no idea. Not
Too
a
much
clue.
mercury.
Of course, it's longer drives.
Can't do it for what?
Got some kind of heavy metal in it. Mercury.
That's nice. All right. Bruce?
I was back there visiting this gal. One thing that the dig area y'all need to kind of keep in mind is that
A little louder, Bruce, can't hear you.
the dig area and the roads and the wet and the springs and everything else, one thing that causes all that and keeps it up is the fact that you've got them huge lakes over at Jeffrey that's surcharging all your groundwater around there and all them springs. And trying to get ahead of it is a nightmare because you don't think it does, but indirectly, even though it's 10, 15 miles away from you, those things have put a lot of hydraulic pressure on that dirt and them rock seams and them formations.
coming out of there and stuff. And that's the other big picture. You don't see what's going on. I mean, I've built a lot of watershed lakes, and there's contractors in here that does it. And you'll sure change the area around you with a small one, let alone doing something as big as Jeffrey and stuff.
All right, thank you. So did everybody get a chance to sign up, the one to sign up? Okay, guys, I do appreciate you all coming tonight, had a good conversation, and we don't want this to be the end of it. We want you all to let's get this township thing going, see what we can do, get your input, get your ideas, all right? Because this is a collaboration, it's not us telling you or you telling us, it's a collaboration between the townships and the county trying to get the thing straightened out. So that's what we're hoping to do. And as far as the roads, we're doing the best that we can right now. We're trying to get ditches clean, we're trying to get grounds put back in like I said, and we'll keep working at it. We ain't gonna stop. So I appreciate you guys coming tonight. Thank you very much.